About 200 years ago, a British man named Sir Raffles kept hearing stories from the locals of a massive monument buried deep under about 400 years of volcanic ash and all overgrown by the jungle. So Mr. Stamford Raffles ordered about 200 men to start clearing the forest, burning it down and digging away the volcanic ash. This took about 2 months in the year 1815, and what the men discovered was the largest Buddhist monument, Buddhist temple in the world. And standing behind me is the most active volcano in this country and one of the most dangerous. Hello sir. How are you? Just another day working at the base of the most dangerous volcano in the world. Mamma mia. In the last 20 years, that's killed like 300 people, this volcano here. Mount Merapi. Absolutely insane. Now the odds are stacked. Not in my favor here. We've had storms, heavy storms. Everything's flooded. The rivers are running like crazy. But we will not give up. The mission continues. We are journeying to Borobudur Temple, which is the monument that these 200 odd men discovered in 1814, 1815. Absolutely insane. This place is going to be epic as. This will be one hell of an adventure, man. Look at that. Look at that for a view. I'm attempting to make my way up here, but I can't get through. I'll show you. There's these crazy river crossings and stuff. It's full on hectic. I had a dirt bike organized, and the dirt bike, to put it politely, was fucked. So we had to go with a scooter, and this is fucked. Terrible quality, but mission continues, bro. You can't stop us. Woo! That was absolutely crazy. I made it up further. Oh, brother. All these trucks were like, yeah! Everyone was beeping and cheering me on. It must be like a rock dumping site for them. Or they collect the volcanic rock from here and take it, use it in construction everywhere. Because this is obviously all volcanic rock. Hey! That's hectic, bro. That was full on. That was full on river crossings and everything. My goodness. Not for the amateurs. It's been a journey to get here. Got off a flight this morning, 5 AM. Early flight. 2-hour taxi to Yogyakarta. That's the name of the place. And then from there, a motorbike, organized one. Ended up having to get a scooter because of the shitty situation. And then an hour and 20 minutes out to here. And then from here, we go in that direction. I'm not telling you where I am yet, the location, the country, until we get to the site, because people aren't interested in this country, so I don't want to deter you away from exploring this place with me. We need to get out of here because there is a electrical storm fully surrounding us right now. Over here is clear, so I've got about an hour ride, and I'll see you there at the monument, and we will explore it, and I'll explain it, and we'll look through it together. It's gonna be epic, man. It's gonna be epic. That is so hectic. Oh, I need to go. I need to stop taking photos. There's full on carnage coming out here. Hello. Huh? Lee. Lee, yeah.
Where are you from?
Australia.
Australia?
Yes, bro. Where are you from?
I'm Solo.
Ah, nice. Hey, nice to meet you, bro. Bye-bye. The boys are. Oh. This is This is crazy as. This riding is insane. I hope I'm going the right way. That's the main thing. Oh my god. Does it look bumpy or what? Oi, oi. Brother. Keep the pace flowing. Oh. Yeah. Drive by. Oh, yeah, woo. That's lit. I spoke to them before, but didn't have the camera on. Hey! Wait until you see this bit. This bit is hectic. Through. Bye-bye. Ah, we can see the bottom now at least. Before it was like all murky. That's not too bad now. Before it's like fully cut. Whoa, apart from that bit. That bit's deep. That's hectic, lad. Woo! Oh, big puddle. Full speed? No. Woo! I got all my stuff on me, of course, because I've come straight from the airport. Laptop, everything. Whoa. Laptop and everything is in the bike. Woo. Wow. This is wild. Here we are, Borobudur Temple. This place is insane, bro. This place is insane. I'm gonna try and explain this in simple terms for you to understand, because it's quite confusing because there's not many details on this place. Have a look at the surrounding land. Unbelievable. So the story is 8th and 9th century this was built, putting this about 1200 years old. However, there's no records of it. That's just a guess, because the empire here, Mataram Empire, which was controlled by the Sailendra dynasty at the time, they were Buddhist, and they built some similar things, nothing on this scale, but they built some monuments during their reign period. So they just think that this was built by them. And you might be wondering what I was talking about, how it was lost. Well, as we all know with history, different empires rise and fall. New empires take over. Some of them were Islamic, because now obviously this area, Java, Indonesia, is mostly Islamic, mostly Muslim. So places like this just don't get used. People don't care, because there's different priorities and different cultural significance. And also the fact that it's right next to Mount Merapi, a few big eruptions, and the Mataram kingdom that was supposedly centered here moved away. That's the general idea, right? Now we have to talk about the shape of this. There's so many details I want to cover, but I want to try and make it as understandable as possible. The shape of this place is crazy. Some say it's not a temple, some say it's just a Buddhist monument. Whatever you want to call it, because people do use it, Buddhists do use it as a place of ceremony and worship. And it is shaped like a perfect 3D representation of what Buddhism tries to get you towards. You try to reach enlightenment, and each staircase and each step is a different thing. Divided into 3 sections, basically, this monument. The first level shows what happens if you chase human desires. There's sad face carvings, and it doesn't get you any closer to nirvana, which is enlightenment. And then the next 5 steps, which is section 2, Has over 3,000 carvings on it depicting meditation and more spiritual aligned things that will eventually get you to nirvana. Finishing with the very top, which is 3 circular levels, basically representing no form. And that is eventually when you reach nirvana. That's what everyone tries to pursue as a Buddhist. Very cool. It's like, yeah, it's like a huge 3D shaped pyramid. An exact example of what Buddhism tries to get you towards. First level of the temple. This represents human desires when you chase things that are not aligned with, you know, Buddhism, stuff like that. So a lot of these carvings represent things like seduction, and a lot of them have like sad faces on them, which is quite interesting. Some of these show the women who are the daughters of hell, something like that, trying to seduce Buddha. And these are the old drainage systems. So this place is obviously built with very insane detail. The drainage systems are incorporated in it so that water doesn't pool up and build up everywhere. And obviously in the last, you know, few years, last 50 years, they've pulled them apart, rebuilt them, actually added PVC piping and everything so everything can drain properly. Because there's no mortar here, so you can pull it apart.
504 Buddha statues.
There you go, more spiritually enlightened. You can tell as well by the difference in hand posture. As you progress up, the hand symbols change. See here? Different to here, with the hand up. So it just highlights the journey of spiritual enlightenment. It's like it's very cool, man. It's like a journey all the way up to reach nirvana. This place is absolutely huge, bruv. You can see a lot of the heads of the Buddhas are gone. Some taken by colonial powers and some just destroyed by invaders. There's been a couple of Islamic terrorist attempts here. Some guys that tried to blow this place up. So all the stones, as you walk over them, some of them move. I had to chuck some long pants on. You gotta cover your knees here. Over 60,000 cubic meters of stone. How hectic is that? I've escaped the group. So we have a lot of progress to make going up these next few steps of section 2. But yeah, over 3,000 carvings here, man. You can walk around here for ages, all depicting different stories and the journey of Buddha seeking enlightenment. It's definitely strange that the largest Buddhist monument in the world, no kingdom claimed it. They didn't claim responsibility for building it. That's weird. Now we have to mention that there's another 2 sites here, temples, monuments, and they're perfectly in alignment with each other. You can draw a straight line going from one to the other. Now, with these monuments across the world, this is very common. No matter how old they are, going back thousands of years, they are so precise. The layout of this place, the layout of these monuments around the world are so precise. Very, very, very accurate and incredible engineering for how old they are. An interesting thing with this is that everything about this place is square. Like it's built perfectly. Here we are. The last few levels. Now different here compared to the bottom 6-7 levels. These are circular. The circular layout is supposed to represent no formity, which is what Buddhism tries to get you to. You're not conformed by anything. And each one of these big old stupas, it looks like an upside down bell. They have a Buddha inside it, a sitting down Buddha. There's tons of them. Have a look. It's crazy, man. How insane. I swing past you, sorry.
Sure.
Thank you.
You.
Wow, have a look at the surround, the landscape here. I don't think you understand how massive that is, man. Like, I'm only up to here in terms of height, and I'm 7'9".
Sini dulu ya, payungnya ditaruh dulu ya, Dek.
So, what I was explaining with the astrological alignment, I always get that wrong, but the alignment of the stars, these monuments were always extremely precise and had a lot of cosmology significance, if that's the right terminology. You know what I mean. And the interesting thing with this place is everything's extremely precise, right? Even the staircases on each end, north, east, south and west facing. But true north, which is alignment of the stars, true north is off by about 7 degrees. Which is weird because everything else is so precisely done. It's not like you would just fuck that up, you know? So, sometimes with these ancient monuments, they're like a big calendar, if you analyze it in terms of star alignment. I know it sounds weird, but this is just basic stuff across huge monuments around the world. And true north alignment is about 7 degrees off, like we said. However, if you were to date this back maybe 1,000 years prior to when they said it was built, it would be spot on. And why is that? It's a phenomenon called axial precession. It's basically when the earth spins, it wobbles a little bit. So every 75 years, true north changes by like a degree. That's just the interesting thing to think about, I reckon. Man, what a view, huh? I am lost, bruv, walking around here. I've actually lost the tour group, which is it's a good thing. Now, if you research places like this, they talk about empires and the different power in this area as having Buddhist Hindu influence. People hear Buddhist and Hindu and get confused. The simple breakdown of that is Hindu originating from India. Hindu is like the main river, right? And Buddhism is an adaptation, a more spiritual version of Hinduism, which branches out from Hindu. So that's what Buddhism is. And people from India, people from that land, for thousands of years, they've been coming down here and trading with all of these regions, bringing their influence and also material things and trading, bringing cultural ideas. So some of these empires and kingdoms obviously took on a lot of that. And then you've got the influence of Buddhist Hindu culture present with this here. So that's where it comes from. Like, just don't get confused when you hear Buddhist Hindu influence, because they are two different religions but very similar. Man, whoever built this, whoever it was, shout out to them. They purposely, obviously not using mortar because of the landscape and being in the ring of fire in Indonesia. This constantly gets covered in ash. Wait, so they built it so you can pull it apart and clean it. So this could last and be around forever. Let's get down from here. The stairs are hectic as. What a place, man, what a place. I didn't even want to mention to you the location where this is, because for some reason it's just not interesting. People who come here are just not interested, and there's not much global interest in this region. And this is obviously UNESCO World Heritage now. So to take you back and explain the backstory of how this got revived, obviously the British, like we said, rediscovered it 1814, 1815, Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles. He's also the same guy who went over to Singapore. If you've been to Singapore and the Raffles Hotel, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the Dutch were here. We can go into much more detail, but the summary is the Dutch had colonized this whole area, Indonesia. Now, things like the Napoleonic War, we could go into more detail about, but which leads to the French sort of overpowering and having control of this area anyway. Long story and confusing. The British only here for about 5 years, rediscovered this, and then they left. The Dutch were still here. The Dutch did work to this, tried to repair it, caused a lot of damage to it, and then eventually in the mid 1900s Indonesia gets its independence back. All right, and they realize, the Indonesian government realizes they need to do something with this place because it's just deteriorating. They need to save it. So they spend a lot of time and a lot of money doing that, and eventually leading to it getting recognized as UNESCO World Heritage, which has brought in millions and millions of dollars for this place to be looked after and kept in good condition. I cannot believe that this was forgotten about for centuries and centuries, like 800, 900 years. This was completely forgotten about, covered in volcanic ash, and just practically looked like a mountain. I've escaped the tour group. We are the tour guide. Look at this, lad. Look at the size of this. A lot of the restorations, they've covered up a lot of these carvings that are down on the lower levels because they need to add reinforcement to this place. Look at the size of this place, cuz. I think there's the most amount of Buddhas here, the most amount of carved Buddha statues in the world as well, like 500 or something. Mate, I'm absolutely cooking in the sun, but this is next level, man. You've probably never heard about this place too, and it's in one of the most visited countries. That's crazy, huh? It's more interesting when you realize that there's not a lot known. There's no old records or nothing about this. It's just a big old mystery, really. Look at that, bruv. My God. Can you imagine being part of that 200 men that found this, the 200 people? Sorry if there was any women there. My apologies. You imagine being the lads that started digging away and just found this stuff buried there. You would have been like, what is this? You got to give the British credit for that. They were so good at surveying land. There's no debate. Places like Borobudur Temple in India, one of the craziest monuments in the world, carved from the top down, rediscovered by the British. Insane, bruv. This is, to give you perspective, this is older than Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is like 12th, 13th century. This is 8th or 9th, or 1,000 years prior to that, even more. That's what's insane. You think how popular Angkor Wat is, right? And then there's this place that's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years earlier. It's quite cool. It definitely highlights how cultures and ideas were shared from country to country around the world. Like these kingdoms and these empires weren't just secluded. It's like a big, beautiful ecosystem. Ideas shared and yeah. Hello. How are you? You're good. That's good. That's a crazy angle. Look at that. Yeah, big old step pyramid, eh? We'll get a photo on here as well. We'll get some photos.
Yes.
There's one section down here that is still showing. There you go. Because some of these levels obviously built out further, like I said, to add more structural support. But there is the non-spiritual pursuit. I'm not too sure what it's depicting. Trying to look at what it's actually representing. You guys might be able to add more detail if you know. That's it, Borobudur Temple. The biggest monument in the world that you've never heard about. How many years you come? Long time ago?
No.
Ah, okay.
By car.
Ah, there you go. From Jakarta. Yeah. Okay, sir.
Are you YouTuber?
Yes, sir, yeah. Nice to meet you, huh?
Yes, nice to meet you.
See you. Not many people want to talk or have that much other information to share because, like I said, it's mostly Muslim population. All right, I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to find my way out of here. At least the weather cleared up. There's some big black clouds over there, so there's another storm coming. It's the wet season now in Java, this place. So thanks to the team for making this possible, which is me and my family, especially my dad. He knows a lot about these places. Like, that's who told me about this place. He's like, you gotta go check this place out. Not many people know about it. So yeah, thanks Dad. All right friends, I'm gonna leave it at that. I wanted you to see this place and I wanted to explain it so that you could understand how interesting it is. So press the like button, share the video. I want to adventure and explore more places like this. Hopefully next video, if we can get there. It's one hell of a mission, but I'm gonna try my best to get there. One of the craziest archaeological sites in history in the world still today. And it's been paused. They don't even want to continue with it, which, yeah, that's a whole story in itself. There's some crazy things in this place, the next one. Chambers that have been identified by LiDAR scanning, where they scan the land and they scanned the monument and they found that there is chambers inside what they thought was a hill, which now turns out to be, the whole hill is basically a giant step pyramid. Crazy, huh? Who would have thought? Indonesia, out of all places. Where do I go, brother? All right, see you in the next video, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching if you got to the very end. I just got back to my hotel. And now the big storm has come again. Borobudur Temple is just over there. So this place is very close. 5 minutes, you can even walk. I forgot to show you my room. This is the room. Not bad. Nice little bathroom. I think this is like 60 USD a night. Whew. That's crazy. Alright, see you in the next video. Peace out.